And hello to you too, wherever you're watching from, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn. I even got a notice that I had an event today on LinkedIn, which was kind of cool. I don't get them for YouTube because I'm logged in. But anyway, I digress. Welcome, Lunch with me, Mike, brought to you by Federal Sales Sherpa and MarketUS. Remember, we stream live every Tuesday at 1 p.m., except for tomorrow. We have our sponsor who will be doing a live stream to all 4 platforms, and we'll get to him in a moment. Today's agenda is our very special guest, who hopefully by now you already know who she is, and we'll move on from there. But first, I got to pay the bills. Benefits USA is our featured sponsor, and it is nearing the end. I believe it's December 5th. Eileen, give me a thumbs. Oops, I gave her name away. We know who she is now. Give me a thumbs up if I got the right day on benefits enrollment. Anyway, let's say December 5th. Who cares? Day or two, 10 days, it doesn't matter. Benefits USA, they're going to help you do 3 things, 3 very important things. Save you money, save you time, and most importantly, help you keep your valued employees. Give them a call. As I know from talking to him about 20 minutes ago, Daniel's sitting by the phone waiting for your call. So continue watching us while you call him, but make sure you don't get rid of us because we need you. Okay, here we go. Now I've got something that I want to show everybody, and it's you know who again.
Hey, Mike, good to see you. Thank you for having me today.
You know I'm a smart ass, so it's good to be seen.
Oh, it's
Or as
good,
a
good to
famous
be
actor
here.
said, good to be the king.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very much looking forward to covering today's subject, which is opening doors for your federal sales team with the right marketing tools. So, is it okay if we just move on and go ahead?
I forgot my lunch, but go ahead.
All right, let's go for it. Let me just make sure the PowerPoint's working. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Is everything behaving well, Mike, here?
Absolutely wonderful.
Perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit about understanding what the doors are that our salespeople are running into and trying to get those doors open with the right tools. So I want to talk a little bit about marketing today. Marketing helps build brand names, and brand names build trust. Salespeople need the tools that build trust in the field. So, where do we begin today? What tools do we need? What's our approach, our tone? What's our message? Everyone in federal contracting has a different opinion about what the tactics are, the activities are, the tools needed to open the doors and to close business. So, let's think about what our salespeople are facing. Those doors look kind of scary sometimes. In fact, if anybody can guess what doors these are, it would be fun for you to put it in the chat. But I'll give you till the end of the presentation to see if you know what they are. I'll have another picture of them at the end. But this is what doors look like to us salespeople trying to face the government. It's a little intimidating. So what is a door to sales? Well, I've developed 4 personas today for fun, and we're going to ask some of those people. We're going to ask the beginner. Well, the door is a barrier. The optimist, the door is an opportunity. The dreamer, I don't need to go door to door. I just need followers. And then, of course, we need the realist, who's usually the owner of the company. As a taxpayer, I paid for that door. Walk through it. So, how do salespeople feel when they're facing a door? The beginner, they're a little bit nervous. The optimist, they're curious. I wonder what's behind that door. The dreamer, if we build it, they will come to us. Basically thinking there's no doors for them. We will attract them and they will come to us. And then of course the realist, when they face a door, they're frustrated. Next question. Who's on the other side of the door? The beginner is going to say, I don't know. The optimist, a client. The dreamer, a friend and a fan. The realist, security. So, how should sales executives knock on this door when they're facing a government door? How should sales knock on the door? The beginner, I don't know, just walk in. The optimist, tap on it gently. The dreamer, who needs to knock? They'll come to us. The realist, unless you pound, they'll never notice you. What do we do when the door opens? The beginner, I wouldn't know what to do or say. I think I'd freeze if they actually open the door. The optimist, I'm going to ask them if they'll let me in. They're going to request an invitation. The dreamer, heck, I'm going to invite them to come out for a walk, come out to play. The realist, they already have someone doing what we do. So why in the world would they open it in the first place? So in marketing, we have to arm our salespeople with the right keys to open doors. And if you like this picture, my friend Mary Olivieri took it. She's from CBD Marketing and she's in Chicagoland area. She took this picture of a door knocker in Paris. It's knocking its own door. So, key number one, we've got to know our customer. We've got to know who they are, what they care about, what they want from people. And you know what? They're frustrated when we approach them with the wrong thing. For example, off the mark, Mark Parisi. He's got Cookie Monster here opening up a box of crackers with a picture of cookies behind him. You know what he wants, but the person coming to him bringing him crackers, he's like, it's like you don't even know me. Customers are frustrated with us when we come to the wrong customers with the wrong things that we're selling. Contracting officers say this to us time and time again. You're calling the wrong office. I don't buy what you're selling. You're calling the wrong place. So we need to do our homework. So in the next couple of slides, I'm going to go through a series of bullet points and why they're very important to salespeople. Marketing. We need to figure out who the heck are we and who are our clients? What pains do we heal? When is it the best time to work with us? How do clients engage our services? Why would they even choose us? What are the best values and differentiators? And can we come up with something that's provable and quantifiable? Why do we need some of these things? Because sales needs context and a mission. They need to confidently reach out to the right people. They need to find people who are experiencing the pains that we solve. They need to know the client's buying seasons and their situations and requirements and protocols. They need to know how to close the deal, what contract vehicles these buyers use, and what set asides they might use. They need to be able to communicate in terms of best values and why they would choose us. They need to communicate what makes us special. And that means we have to come up with a provable, quantifiable list of reasons. So when I talk about best values and differentiators, I'm not talking about overblown words like best in breed and world class. I'm not talking about um, cultural words that we like to use. We have integrity. We're quality. You can't prove those things unless you won a JD Power and Associates award. So you need to come forward with provable, quantifiable best values and differentiators. So what I mean by that are what is your past performance? What are your certifications? What are the years of experience? that your team members have and your key staff has? What are your warranties? Can you deliver quickly? Do you have a safety record? Think about the things that you can prove that are going to be important to the client. And we need to be able to give that in a statement and repeat it over and over and over again. Here's a couple things too that the marketing team needs to start considering building. And let me tell you why salespeople need these things. A capability statement is a 1 or 2 page document. Now, some schools of thought they like to stick with 1 page, and others of schools of thought are open to it being 2 pages. But I want you to think about if you're going to make it 2 pages, that your capability statement has white space. Notice this slide here. There's some white space in there so you can focus your eye on the key points that we're talking about. But also on a capability statement, what needs to be on there are all your system for award management information, your unique unique entity identification code, your UEI code, your cage code, your address, your email, right? Your phone number, and then a short sentences, easy list of capabilities they can breeze through quickly and point one out that they want to talk to you more about. You're going to want to include your best value differentiators. So those past performance, safety record, team experience. You're going to want all those things on your 1 to 2 page capability statement. And the thing that you need to do too is it needs to be modifiable by the salesperson. There's nothing more frustrating for a salesperson but to have a capability statement that the capability that they want to feature today with a particular client is on the bottom of the list. They want to be able to move that point to the top. So I highly recommend you provide your sales team not only with the capability statement in a PDF file, but you might also want to be able to give it to them in a Word document so that they can modify it slightly for a particular client situation. Now, also at your website, you're going to want a web page that has your capabilities on there and your past performance, but you're also going to want to have a downloadable hot link at your website where your capability statement downloads onto the client's desktop. And now I'm going to give you a little mini point right now that's not listed here on this PowerPoint. I want you to name that capabilities statement, not your company name. I want you to put what you do. So, for example, if you're a database developer on GSA Schedule 8A, woman owned small business, you're going to want to call your capabilities statement database management, security, cybersecurity, programming by XYZ Company, WOSB 8A GSA capabilities 2022.pdf. The reason why I'm telling you this is buyers tend to download a lot of capability statement and everybody just names their capability statement. And you want to tell people what you do and who you are in the naming convention so that when they save it to their desktop and they're looking for a database developer, they're going to find you in the D's rather than your XYZ company name that they're not going to remember. So that's a little bit of a concept. The other thing I want you to do is to have a mini video possibly featuring your staff, your workers, your warehouse, your space. I have a client in the Carolinas right now that literally tricks out armored vehicles. So cool. And their local, actually, community cable channel did a feature on them and their manufacturing facility. And they created a video and did it as a visit. You know, I worked in municipal cable television way early on in my career. And we would go from businesses to businesses featuring businesses in our community. And guess what those businesses got out of it? They got out a mini video. But if you wanted to produce your own, videos really tell your story, which is exciting, but keep it short and sweet. And don't forget those best values that make you unique. Also, you want to be able to have your GSA schedule if you have one. If you have a GSA schedule number that starts with a GS 03F00027, something like that, or the 47QRAA, that's the new GSA schedule numbers, make that a hot link at your website, they click on it, and they go straight to eLibrary, seeing your pricing and buying from you on GSA schedule. So also, you're going to want to develop some sort of capabilities briefing that might be 5 slides at the most that shares your capabilities and your past performance case studies. So, anything that you can give that are compelling examples, tools that will allow your salespeople to have the key things in their briefcase, on their desktop, on their phone, ready to deliver. Because sometimes what will happen is you might call on a client. I've done this before. I've gone visiting a client and I had my capability statement in my briefcase, but then they said, well, let's gather the team around. Let's get everybody together. Okay, present to us. So your team better be ready and not caught on the back foot without a presentation ready to go. We have to arm our people with these marketing materials. So I also want you to think about social media out there that's available marketing. So this is a way to create corporate brand awareness. You can't use this only for your sales activities. You have to start getting a hold of and understanding what are the keywords that federal buyers are using to find what you sell and the phrases that they describe what you do. So, for example, moving companies in commercial, it's moving. But in the federal government, sometimes they use the phrase restacking for restacking a building and it's moves. So, start to look for the keywords in your industry. Now, when you start to write posts, I want you to think about the top 5 pains that you solve. And then you're going to be writing post after post after post about those pains. You're going to be tapping on those pains in your posts, but also giving some solutions and pointers. And then they start to see you as a resource of someone to go to. So sometimes people think about going to Facebook and Twitter, and I've found that the federal government doesn't actually go to Facebook pages or Twitter pages for a corporation. They might create their own Facebook and Twitter pages for you to follow, but they really like LinkedIn. So you're going to need to build a corporate profile and you're going to need to have an owner's profile along with a corporate logo on every employee's profile so that the more people see your logo and the more people they see that work at your company, the more brand awareness people are going to have on your LinkedIn. So you're going to start with putting postings onto your corporate page. And then you're going to also create groups that might want more subject matter expertise and also look for groups that are on LinkedIn that might be in your area of expertise. So, for example, if you followed me on LinkedIn, if you looked me up, Eileen Kent, Federal Sales Sherpa on LinkedIn, and you looked at the groups I'm involved in, I have about 40, 50 groups that I post to almost every day. And some of them have to do with federal contracting, some of them have to do with proposal writing, some of them have to do with GSA schedule contracting, but I'm posting every day. And if you follow those groups as well, you might be able to put some posts up yourself, do some contributions up there, find some teaming partners and friends. So your sales team, and just one other little thought here is the feds that you're hanging out with, they're voyeurs. They'll read your stuff, they'll check out your page on LinkedIn, but they're not gonna engage with you on LinkedIn. They might not even hit like on your stuff, but they're reading it. Okay. Now, if they post stuff, I want you to like theirs and comment them and connect with them because if you ever have an offline conversation with your federal customers or small business officers and you raise them up in LinkedIn and praise them on LinkedIn, if you have a sidebar conversation with them on LinkedIn, they will talk to you because they'll remember you for contributing to their posts. So if you have corporate posts, the sales team members can share those posts. They can also use them to educate their clients and prove that we have the solutions to clients' pains. Clients can tend to come to us for answers once they realize we're a subject matter expert in a certain area. In fact, I have a friend of mine, I think she is a green roof expert and she posts a lot about green roofs. And so people come to her with their questions about how to be able to have a successful green roof in Minneapolis, for example, in a very tough area to have a green roof. It creates trust. And just I want you to note this. Over 2 million federal customers are on LinkedIn right now. And if you connect with me, I have over 9,000 followers, and you'll be only one connection away from a lot of federal customers as well as other experts in the federal market. So salespeople need to have your corporate logo at their own private LinkedIn page. Okay. So make sure they get that on their page and make sure they're showing your postings and your company wins and they participate in those groups as well. That will get their name brand and their subject matter expertise tied to you. So the next key is I want you to start thinking about marketing and sales. Start thinking about the associations you want to get involved in. Now, I'm all about finding where the end users are hanging out. So for example, if I were selling to facilities, if I worked for a construction company or a furniture company or an energy company or a real estate company or flooring or masonry, I would reach out to SAME, SAME.org, which is the Society of American Military Engineers. That's where my end users are hanging out. They have an annual event in November and they get together with local posts and local networking events. So get involved in your local chapters of your associations. Now, there's major associations. There's a Hub Zone Association and a Small Business Association. There's NCMA and AVSIA and others. Those are federal contracting associations. They're not tied to end users. You're going to see a lot of small business officers at those. You want to hang out and be where your end users are going to be. If you're in IT, find out where the end users are hanging out and what associations they're part of and users groups they're involved with. Create association-based material. Develop training for your salespeople to bring to those groups. And if you decide to ever go to a trade show, create a trade show booth and brochures that have a theme that's memorable. And make sure your booth is fun and exciting. I call booths 10 feet of power selling. Remember, time is real estate at a trade show. So you want to attract as many people to your booth to collect your information and to scan their name and to book appointments after the trade show. Don't stand there for 2 hours with a potential client in your booth. I want you to get as many people to sign up at your booth and have those one-on-ones around the trade show, before the trade show, after the trade show. But marketing people, I want your booth to be fun. You know, a lot of these shows are so serious. And sometimes when they go to these trade shows, they're looking for something that's interesting and unique and memorable. So don't forget to make your booth graphically pleasing, very exciting to approach. Make sure that no one is sitting and talking on their cell phones in the booth. You want to make it exciting. Make sure the marketing team is in the booth with business cards. And if you have giveaways for a government event, your giveaways can only be like little trinkets like pens, pencils, hand sanitizer, nothing more than about $10 each. But you also have to have enough giveaways for everybody that's attending that event. That's the way it works. Now, sales, they need to be going to these association meetings and they need to bring your project managers to the association meetings and the owners need to attend and walk the show with the sales team. The sales team needs to be free to run around the show while you marketing people are manning the booth. So the other thing too is marketing. You need to start developing some really strong articles that have to do with solutions you offer, technical expertise, tips and tricks, any type of training, answers to problems. It's not a sales piece, okay? It's something that the client can take your information to their bosses and start asking for a budget for what you have to offer. So this is kind of the thing that you need to keep under the radar. And one classic example of a sales piece that I did is I worked for a roofing company for a while, and there were over 40 roofers on the GSA schedule. And we offered at least 20 different types of products and services: green roofs, solar roofs, white roofs, light pipes, emergency roof repair, maintenance, snow removal, design, development, planning. So we had all these different services on GSA schedule. And what I did was is I went across every single roofer's schedule and saw the services that they had available. And I created a grid listing all of the companies on GSA schedule. And then what I did is I had columns of the capabilities and the list of each company. And our company was in the T's, low at the bottom. But every one of those capabilities, we had X's in every box, but nobody else did. They all had smatterings of X's, but not everything. So everything looked the same. And then I would just say to my clients, hey, do you want a market analysis of who on GSA schedule has the different services? Oh my gosh, yes. And I would just give them a document that said roofing market analysis doc. And every company name looked the same. I didn't bold mine or anything, but it was apparent that my company did everything, right? So it was a really easy way for them to have a market analysis. So something they can use that's not salesy, but they can use to justify why you. And also remember, make it customizable for your salespeople. This gets salespeople to open up technical conversations with their customers, which starts to create pain and needs and scope discussions. It uncovers these pains, establish conversations about needs. The one thing that I did when I was selling one-on-one from the companies that I sold to the government is I created mini training programs based on pain. So, for example, at one point in 2009, the president got on a roof and said, I want every single rooftop to be green, solar, or cool, which made every program and project manager in the federal government public building services have a little heart attack because they didn't have the expertise to know which roofs could handle the weight of a green roof or was within the right solar capabilities, right? So they were panicking. So what we did is we put together a training program called Environmental Solutions in the Roof. And we went from office to office to office, bringing our subject matter experts to each office, training the program managers the difference between green, solar, and cool roofing and what kind of roofs were appropriate for what kind of solutions. So what would happen is they go, hey, while you're here, can you get on this roof with me and let's talk a little bit about it. So it created conversations, needs, and pains, which is exactly marketing. What you want to do is establish us as an expert and get people to ask more questions and invite our technical people out to talk to them about their need. It leads to decision maker introductions and meetings. So now this is something that a lot of marketing people don't even think about. But have you thought about what you're doing branding wise when you onboard a customer? What do your invoices and your agreements look like? Do you have your logos on them? How do they look? What about your invoices and your packing slips? You know, they're a great way to thank the customer. If you have a little space on an invoice or a packing slip, and in fact, if you're selling supplies, you might want to put it in a couple different languages as well. And in fact, I have an idea for you. Why not put a marketing piece at the bottom of a box of supplies that you're supplying? Let's say you're selling, I don't know, oil, and they bought a packet of 50 oil cans, right, for their auto repair shop, right? And so at the very bottom of the box, why not have, hey, are you running low on oil? Call us. So I have a marketing piece at the bottom of the box and they'll call us for more. Marketing should also think about helping with the reports based on wrapping the quality communications on how we're doing. Do customer surveys and milestones. Start writing letters of commendation and appreciation for your clients. And I do want to cover the issue of, and I'm going to kind of scroll down why sales needs some of these things. So for invoices and agreement, you know, it gives sales a really nice piece to get the agreement out there and get it signed. You know, invoices, it gets them to call us again. Marketing piece, as you know, it might be more areas to fill gaps that they might have. Thank you letters and relationships are critically important. It's Thanksgiving week. Why aren't you writing Thanksgiving thank you notes to all of your clients right now. Think about an owner signing a custom written commendation letter for some of your end users. Those are going to be framed and put on the wall, and now they're never going to forget you. CPARs are something you need to start thinking about. This is where the federal government is putting in their rating on how you did. So they could either give you, a poor, a satisfactory, a very good, an outstanding, or an exceptional. And really, you want to start looking for those exceptional CPARs. And the only way you're going to get exceptional is if you tell your clients, our goal is to provide you with exceptional service. And every step of the way, every single person in your company needs to say, my name is Eileen, and my goal is to provide you with exceptional service. I hope that we're doing that. And if we're not, please give us some feedback so we can fix it. Constantly be using the exceptional word so that when they remember you and they're filling out the CPARs, they're going to say, I wonder about that. Oh, yeah, they strive to be exceptional. And I think they earned it. So, marketing, start thinking about reaching out to your loyal clients, creating some sort of loyalty programs, asking them for the repeat business. Now, you can't give your customers, your federal customers, presents. At a trade show, you can do little mini giveaways, but you can't give gifts at all. So, no gifts, but you can show appreciation. For example, you can provide them discounts, volume discounts, early payment discounts if you wanted to. Nominate your clients for professional awards. How about that? Like, for example, if you were in the marketing world and you were creating a website for the federal government and you had a person on the inside that was managing that project, but of course you came up with all the wonderful ideas, you're going to nominate them for some sort of website design award so that they'll never forget you. Just the nomination will touch them. So, sales worked really hard to bring them in. So we need to start thinking about ways that we can get repeat business to get them to come back and back and back to us again. So I want you to look at this picture. It's a picture of the FBI, the J. Edgar Hoover building. And did you notice? Look at the door. They invite us to walk through it. So stop being nervous about it and think about the ways that you can get that door. It's a revolving door. You can walk in. So here's a picture of these doors again. And if you haven't guessed, this is a picture of the doors of the Illinois State House. And they're these beautiful copper doors. They're unbelievable. They were just redone a couple years ago. So I have a saying for you. A sales team with a mission will knock down doors to save a client's day, their budget, save them money, to save lives. For example, I have a client right now. Her company has a new way to trace DNA on victims and criminals. They have been solving cold case files that are over 50 years old. There's nobody else in the country that is able to take 7 cells or less, 7 cells, that's less than a fingerprint, and identify someone. And currently, the FBI is using a technology that's about 20 years old and about 10% accurate. And this company, this one saleswoman, was determined to change the law and the processes about how the FBI tests DNA. And now her testing at Othram Inc., her testing now is approved by Congress for the FBI to use it. Okay, so she's walking the halls and banging down the FBI's doors, Bureau of Indian Affairs, and anybody else who will listen that needs DNA testing to clear up the cold case files. She wants to give families closure. That's her mission. I have another client who has it's a piece of flesh actually about this big, and it cures burns and bed sores in 3 weeks. Now, we have veterans that are in the hospital for months with these injuries and these wounds. And this particular person went from 0 to 4 million in his first year, walking the halls of the of the VAs on a mission to be able to raise the quality of the veterans' care and teaching the wound care nurse and the surgeons how this piece of flesh can be put on a burner or a bed sore and that person's out of the hospital in less than 3 weeks. What is your mission? We need to create a mission for our salespeople so they're willing to walk through walls to get those clients who need us. So before we close out here, I want to say a special thank you to some resources that have helped me with this presentation. Of course, you know I work with Judy Brad at Summit Insight and Michael Price here at Lunch with Mike. Shane Bolin is the person who's built my website, federalsalessherpa.com. So these are three people that are very, very helpful in the market. But I also want to point out Cheryl McCants at Impact Consulting. She actually has something called the Impact Pitch Pack. And what she does is she builds capability statements, briefings, websites, past performance stories, whatever you're looking for. So you can find her here. She also has a Marketing Mama Pop podcast available. I want to thank Mark Parisi for his Off the Mark cartoon today, and Market Connections, who actually has a very good annual content marketing review that they put out. You'll have to buy it though. And then Mary Olivieri, my buddy who had that great knocker, that door knocker photo that we loved. So with that, I'd like to thank you, Mike, for having me today. And I want to just bring it back to you and say thank you. Thank you for having me. Mike, I can't hear you.
I said, there's tears in my eyes. I've never been on the first page.
You're very important.
Yes, thank
VIP.
you. Let's go over to see what we got for Q&A.
That might be asking too much.
No, it's not. Well, who can guess who that is? Let me see what we got here.
Morgan Freeman.
You cheated because I already told you.
No, I know that movie, Shawshank Redemption. I've probably seen it about 100 times.
Yep.
I'm a big
Just remain calm. There's other surprises coming, as there always is. So, anyway, I don't see anything in here now, but I'm sure there's a ton of them on the different platforms, and I'll have to check those on the way out. So let's go to our wrap-up. Another new surprise coming.
Awesome!
Yeah. I told you I was going to come up with some kind of stuff. See who's awake and who's not and everything else. So I believe that we have a video for everybody for our upcoming next week. And let's do our thank you. And remind everybody that we stream every Tuesday. And I'm going to show you rather than me telling you, because sometimes I act like an idiot, but it makes people laugh, so I'm happy. Anyway, let's go to, it'll be about a minute, and then we'll work our way out. And I'm still monitoring the chat to see if anybody kind of got over from one of the other platforms. And it's understand it's very, very difficult for that. So we'll deal with that later. Well, everyone, as you can see, we have snow on the ground, just like our guest today who lives in the Midwest. But our snow's cooler than her snow. Anyway, welcome to Lunch with Mike, brought to you by Federal Sales Sherpa and MarketUS. And we are approaching the end of our November live stream series. And every Tuesday, and I will have the December schedule up probably by the weekend. But anyway, let's get right into it, and we have to pay the bills first. Benefits USA. We've done a number of live streams with them. We've done a number of YouTube and Zoom meetings with them, but we're nearing the end of open season. So now is the time, if you're still on the fence, if you're frustrated, scared, whatever, to contact Benefits USA. Give Daniel a call. He's sitting by the phone right now. I just hung up with him. And he will save you money, save you time, and make your employees happy. So tell him we sent you. I don't think it'll do anything for you, but tell him we sent you. Good morning, Eileen.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Well, I just put up the 22nd slide. Well, we'll get rid of that real quick. That's all part of being live. We make mistakes.
Right. That's
I make mistakes even when I'm making mistakes. So,
right.
what the heck? Tell us what's going on the coin term to bid or not to bid. What movie? That came from History of the World Part 1.
To be or not to be?
But it wasn't.
Right.
It was something else.
What was the other thing it was from? Maybe Hamlet, a little Shakespeare. But today, when we talk on the 29th, we're going to be talking a little bit about the cost of writing blind loser bids. We really need to start really focusing on only writing winning proposals. And the only way we can do that is create a series of questions we need to ask ourselves, an intelligence that we actually need to have in our fingertips. And if we don't know this information, we shouldn't be bidding on a blind bid. It can cost a company up to $64,000 to write a proposal. People don't believe me, but if you take 4 resources for 30 days to write a proposal and multiply it by $100 a person, then add in their evenings, their weekends, and any other proposal writers that you're bringing on board to help you, it adds up very quickly. And the last thing we want you to do is to write a loser. So we're going to get really focused on the 29th and talk about how we can avoid writing losers and only focus on writing proposals where we know the contacts, the incumbents, and I can go on and on about some of the other questions you need to ask yourself, but we'll do that on Tuesday the 29th.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that if I'm an idiot and just start writing proposals on everything that comes across my desk, that's going to cost me $64,000 or more, 65, 66, whatever.
If it's a long IT project that has a lot of technical and a lot of pricing and some past performance, some of these proposals can take a long time to put all the pieces together, and it will take you multiple resources to do it. If you're writing a request for, an RFI or a sources sought, those are a little easier, 10 pages. You can turn those in here and there. But an actual RFP takes a big effort. So we want to make sure that we're only writing winners.
Wonderful. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that deserves an applause. Thank you. And we will see you on the 29th.
Sounds good.